What is going on, YouTube? I am so glad that I finally figured out a way to balance out YouTube and the rest of my life, which consists of mobile detail business, my dad's company, my church events, playing soccer. Uh, the list goes on. Family, hanging out with friends, and school's gonna start in 2 weeks. So I did want to start preparing so that I can create a schedule where I can make these videos weekly. Because I know that even though there are very few watching, I know that it still serves some value from my experience and anything that I've learned in school. And that's all I want to do. I just want to share this value with you. So, for today's topic, we will be discussing the reality of business. Without further ado, let's get into the show. So, when do you really start seeing results with a business? I mean, the reality of a business is you need to be very patient because it's not like you start a business one day and then the next day you're starting to see success. So, as always, before I even mention anything, please do your research before considering my information. Always make an informed decision, even with anyone. I'm only speaking from experience with my own business, with the businesses that I've worked with, my dad's, and what I've learned in school. Make sure you do your own research before making any business related decisions. But without further ado, I'm only sharing my experiences to help you if it does. So, now with saying that, right, it takes a really long time to actually build up a business and maintaining it over time. Patience is probably going to be your best friend because you will see when you start a business that it is not as smooth as it seems. It is kind of like a Six Flags roller coaster, especially the business that I'm in. I mean, it's like up and down and up and down and up and down. There's like seasons which it's really great, like the summer. Like right now, we're kind of like at an uphill. But then there's like here in California when it starts to rain, like the people really want a wash when it's raining. I mean, technically you can still do it as a detailer. You can add a sealant under the garage, and the rain won't affect it. But let's be honest, like, does every customer know that? Like, are they gonna actually be willing to invest in that? Like, majority won't. So at the end of the day, like, for a detailer, it's like sometimes like those days are kind of like low, and it just varies. And that's kind of with any job. I mean, I used to work at fast food locations, and there were days where it was really great. But then there were days, for example, when it was like the first couple of days of the month, which was like payday, rent day, of course, and very, very few customers would show up. And that's particularly because they were paying the rent and they didn't have money to go around spending. So the reason I'm saying this is because you need to be aware that when you have a business, it's not going to be success like every single day. I mean, unless you're like running a company like Elon Musk or something, or you're running these like multi-billion-dollar like McDonald's companies and corporations. Great, cool. But when you're starting a small business, and that's what I'm mainly focused on. When you're starting a small business, you need to be realistic. You need to set real expectations and understand where you're gonna get at in the first couple of months and even the first year. I can, as much as I would like to say, hey, my mobile detail business is gonna make seven figures and get me out of um, this apartment, and I'm gonna get a house. It's possible, but let's be honest. You need to consider the circumstances that you're in and a lot of the resources and the environment that you're in. I mean, in order for me to even accomplish that goal, I would need to be working at least 3 to 4 daily details. It's just so much. I mean, the time, the energy that I need to spend into like that's not something that I'm worried about right now. Where now what we're kind of focused on is how do you start like when do you start really seeing actual results? Like when do you see actual success? I can't give you a number, and I don't think anyone can give you a number. If you see a training course and it says, oh, join this training course, they sell it to you for thousands of dollars, and they say, oh, you'll be successful within a couple of months. Like those training courses, I don't know. I've never done them. I don't say they're wrong, but from my business standpoint, starting my own personal business, seeing my personal results and seeing other business owners' results and learning from school professors and how their success has been, it takes time. Any business takes time. Any. It doesn't matter if it's a product or a service. It takes time. Getting the customers, getting the right prices, getting the right resources, the tools. Like it takes time to build up all of that. And the way I like to picture it is kind of like this: is when you're planting a seed and you want to see the seed grow into a plant, you want it to blossom, whether it be a plant or a rose, whatever, a fruit. You're not just gonna put it in the dirt and then say, oh, put it on Monday and then tomorrow Tuesday, hey, I might have a rose. No, it takes time. I mean, you have to put it in the right location on the dirt. You have to make sure that sunlight is hitting every day. You have to make sure that you have enough water. There's a lot of things that you need to do before you see a regular plant grow. There's so many things you need to do, and it's kind of like that for business. There's so many things you need to do before you start seeing that profit, that money get into your wallet. And for example, for me, it took me about a full year because I registered the business in October of 2019, and I'm barely gonna hit October of 2020. And sorry, guys. Oh, goodness. Very tired. And I'm barely starting to see results. I'm barely able to get by month to month. I'm barely able to save up month to month. Whereas when I was going about it a couple of months ago, I was struggling to get 3 to 4 customers a month. Now it's like I'm only having 3 or 4 days available for customers, and those are my days off. Like now I'm starting to get in customers on a regular daily basis. So can I give you a time frame? I mean, my dad's business, it took him about 5 to 7 years. My dad is actually he buys and resells plants. He crops plants anywhere from like plants to fruits, and he also buys and resells wood and mill lumber, and he's been doing that for quite a while. And he's been at it for like every single day, you know 8 to 12 hour shifts, sometimes 15-hour shifts by himself, for a long period of time. Oh god, so sorry. It is currently 1:02 a.m. I've had to make this time just for YouTube videos, man. I don't know how I'm gonna keep up with this when school starts. I'm starting in 2 weeks. But anyways, yeah. And for me, it's only been a year. And can I say that I've been a success? I mean, it looks like, because when I put a picture on Instagram and when I'm putting daily, stories on Instagram, it looks, wow, like Brian's like getting it, like he's on it. Like the reality is, I mean, partially yes, but at the same time, like you gotta think about it. Like think about it. I have a truck that I'm paying $500 monthly. The insurance is about 300. Not to mention the business insurance. Not to mention there's just so much, and there's so many expenses that I need to make in order to get by and make a profit. So while yes, it looks like I'm making a profit, and yes, I might be making some, it's still tough. I mean, I'm barely in my first stages, in my first year. You know, it takes a while. I had a soccer coach. I don't think he'll watch this video, but if he ever does, if I, shout out to him. I don't think he'll watch it. He had a lot of recycling bins, and my dad, when my dad first started a business, my dad was looking for people to give him advice and people who had businesses, and my dad went around looking for people. Well, my soccer coach had three operating recycling bin locations, so my coach was balling. And I didn't even know that until I grew up and my dad told me about it. My dad went around and asked people, and he asked people like, "Hey, how does it work? How long will I see success? When will I see money?" And the coach told him like, "Hey, man, it's gonna take at least 3 to 5 years for you to even see." And this is the way he said it in Spanish: "Para que tú veas que una mosca se te levante de tu negocio," like for a little fly to pick up, like just get off from your business. Meaning, he was trying to tell my dad, like, yo, this is gonna take you a while. But on the flip side, he did tell my dad, look, regardless, even if it takes you 3 to 5 years to build this business, I want you to know that if you're willing to give it everything that you've got, work hard every single day, and if you're willing to invest time, energy, money, resources, and take these risks, you're gonna be successful. You're gonna have success. I have 3 recycling bin locations that are generating a lot of profit for me. I have people working for me. I mean, it just goes on. My dad, it actually took him about 5 to 7 years to start seeing actual results from his business, making profit, not struggling month to month basis. For me, I'm on my first year. I do have sort of, you could say, certain advantages that my dad doesn't have. Like my dad doesn't use social media. I do. Like there's just so many other things that I can say that I just don't want to put my dad on blast. I don't want to compare my dad or anything. I love him, but although I do have certain advantages and certain things that are helping me boost up the business at a faster rate, I'm still not like wow. Like I still have to figure out like shoot, like what am I gonna do on like certain days when I don't got this? Like what am I gonna do when I don't make ends meet? Like there's still times like that for me. Business is hard. It's not easy. It's like life. I mean, you have to work every single day. And sometimes it sucks because you can be working 12 to 15 hours a day and still not make results. And sometimes you have to put in all those hours so that over time you will start seeing those results. For example, when I first started my mobile detail service, I started getting a couple of customers. I wasn't having 20 to 100 customers a month. I was only having like maybe 3 or 4 a month when I first started. Then over time, I started working hard on those customers. Those customers liked my work. They recommended me, and it started to double, triple, and it just started to go up. But it took time. I had to invest in supplies. I had to invest in times. I had to learn how to actually properly detail a car because I used to wash cars at Kia. Washing and detailing is very different. That's a whole separate story, and for my own business. But washing and detail, right? And it took time for me to craft my skills. It took time for me to learn what works best for customers. It took time, but just like my coach had said, if you're willing to invest this amount of time and effort for these amount of years, you're gonna be successful. Can you build a business and have overnight success? Great. If you do, wow. Call me if you make $1 million. Let's be friends. I don't want to be doing what I'm doing at the moment. I actually want to be spending time with you because you have money. I'm kidding. But if you want to be successful in business, how long does it take? It depends on a couple of things, but I'm going to narrow it down to like 2 to 3 things. One, how consistent are you? Are you working daily? Are you working 6 to 7 days a week? Are you consistently giving your customers the best product or service? Two, are you executing? Because there's a big difference between working hard and executing. Working hard used to be valued in our communities. Now, it's not only about working hard because you can have a lot of people who work hard. You need to execute. Are you fulfilling your demands to your customers? If you are consistent about it and you are actually getting there and doing it, that's great. That's another plus side. The third thing, you need to be patient. A business does not grow overnight. A plant does not grow overnight. It takes time. I don't want to tell you it takes 20 years. I also don't want to tell you it takes 5 years. If you start a business today and you do it and you work hard every single day and you're willing to put in the effort, I am an example that within a year you can get by with the business. Will it be easy? Heck no. I've been putting in a lot of hours every single day for my mobile detail business, and it is barely getting there, and it is barely going to hit the 1 year mark. To answer the question, it'll take as long as the consistency that you have, as long as how much execution you have for your customers, and the patience that you have to seeing your rewards benefit. I hope I didn't misconfuse you. There's so much that I was trying to hit. Just try to remember that business is not an overnight success kind of thing. Business takes time, and in order for you to see success, you need to be patient. Work hard, and yeah. That being said, hope you liked the video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. If you don't like it, let me know why, and that'll really help out. Also, if you have any advice or anything you would like me to discuss about business, put it in the comment sections below, or DM me, or message me, and I will make it. But other than that, see you on the next video.